Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's Artist Insight with the Laba Arts and Culture Department at the 14th Street Y. I'm David Stallings, the Director of Arts and Culture, and for the past couple of weeks, we've been interviewing different members of our staff, and this week we have three fantastic members who you may or may not know, and if you don't know, I hope you get to know their amazing work that they've been doing, often behind the scenes. First off, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Miller. Rebecca is the theater manager at the 14th Street Y. Lilith Batchelder is the box office manager and special events coordinator. And Ophir Tall is our 14th Street Y shaliach. And he's going to tell us all about what a shaliach does. And he's been with us for 2 years now. So let's start off with this question. And Rebecca, we'll go to you first. What is the job that you initially applied for at the 14th Street Y that is not the job you have today?
So I originally applied for an administrative coordinator part-time job. It was something like 19 hours a week or something like that. And that's definitely not what I do anymore. Well, I still do a lot of that stuff, but I do a lot more things now. So that was a few years ago now. And that was mostly just administrative things, payments, tracking, orders, things like that, which then grew into a full-time administrative coordinator position, which then grew into the theater manager position that I have today. I think it's
So what does a theater manager do?
That's a good question. So a lot of it is still administrative. So it's things like write up contracts for people and be in touch with all of our partners throughout the year to make sure that they have what they need from us and that we have what we need from them in terms of, things like insurance and things like that, but also making sure that they feel good about their time with us. And beyond that, it's, things like working on various events that we have, still a lot of ordering, trying to make sure people get paid, things like that. And also just some planning for the theater as a whole.
Amazing. Lilith, what did you initially apply for and do for us at the 14th Street Y?
Well, it all started actually at a paint call nearly 4 years ago, like fall 2016. Chrissy put out a call for a paint call, and I came and I painted, and Chrissy said, hey, we also have this front of house position. So I applied for the front of house position, and I think that was October 2016. Did that for a long time, and then got a call from David, which for some reason, as soon as I got it, my heart was pounding. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it's something. And he was like, hey, how do you see your future at the Y? And I said, I'm not sure I know, but it looks good. And then here I am. It morphed into managing the box office as opposed to being a part-time box office worker, as well as birthday parties and random events and lots of other fun miscellany.
Excellent. And Ophir, tell us a little bit about what is a shaliach? What is the shlahim? What is it that you do here in the Arts and Culture Department at the Y?
So a shaliach is a Hebrew word, means emissary or community specialist. There are a lot of shluchim all over the United States of America, in countless of JCCs and college campuses. These are basically education and art-savvy Israelis who have been sent by the largest Jewish NGO on earth, the Jewish Agency for Israel, and the UJ Federation in our case, to promote Israel-themed content. In our context, of course, it's arts and culture related. So it can be the Israeli film series that we had. It can be Jewish events, the season of Jewish culture events that are all poured within art and artistic elements. And it's intercultural relations, basically.
Amazing. And, I have to applaud the deftness with which you handle all of the conversations whenever we see a film or have a talk back and really discuss the subject matter. One of your wonderful assets is you really let people talk and you listen, and it always just is a rich conversation as opposed to hearing a message. Like I feel like the message you bring is let's talk and let's exchange ideas and culture and sometimes have really intense conversations that I always walk away really fulfilled by having. So thanks for that. You've been wonderful the past 2 years. It's been great having you. And just so everyone knows, this is Ophir's last few months with us because it is a 2-year program. And I am devastated that your final programs have all had to go digital and virtual because you really came into your own with so much of this programming this year. And it was just watching you grow has been really satisfying, I think, for the entire department and the community to get to know you. So yeah, why don't you be the first person to answer this question? How did we shift from being physical events, real life events, to this virtual events? You know, we are the arts and culture department, but oftentimes people call us the theater team, but because that's our space. But I think that we've really been challenged to be true to our real title, arts and culture department, because we have brought arts and culture to a new platform, to a new space, this virtual space. So how did you do it, Ophir?
I took the old saying of Shakespeare that the whole world is our stage, and really together with you guys, with the arts and culture team, we try to implement this within online platforms. Facebook, beyond being a social media, is actually a great platform to do broadcasts. You can call it the 400 YTV if you'd like. And I personally feel that in all the events that I moderated that occurred in Facebook Live, I felt like a TV moderator, to be honest. So I think it's really about changing not only your target audience, which obviously changes once you move from on-location activities to online. Also, it's about changing the way you conduct the content. It's more to the point. It's more facilitation geared, it's more Q&As, it's more share screens and stuff like that. And so in a way, even though we have moved from the physical realm to online, we haven't really changed in the core. I think that the true core of theater is really taking a human platform and digging into all the aspects that make it so unique. And so online is merely a platform. But in our very base of being a theater-geared group, we haven't changed, I believe.
No, I mean, your Mamuna, which is an amazing holiday. Would you call it a holiday, Ophir? Great.
Definitely.
That was, it was a interfaith holiday. And you started celebrating it with us last year and introducing this holiday to us. And this year it was an online concert and discussion. And what I love about Mamuna is it is a moment for the Muslim community and the Jewish community to come together after Passover, and the Muslim community will provide food for the Jewish community who have been fasting. It's so beautiful. And online, I think it was just as much a success. And, you know, everyone is showing that more people are joining us. We have people from Israel. We have people from across the country, the United States, who are watching what we're doing in downtown Manhattan. And that's thrilling. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't know what a Mamuna was, and now they do. So, well, Rebecca, let's swing it to you. What have you been doing behind the scenes to create this virtual arts and culture department?
So kind of my favorite thing that I've been doing is working with some of our partners that have upcoming shows to try to shift their work to work online. So I don't know that we've announced everything yet, but we have a couple projects that we were going to have in June that are now moving online, especially for, our Pride series and things like that. So some of the people we're working with already kind of knew what they wanted to do. But I think that working with some of these people to actually help them translate their work to work virtually is exciting. Um, and yeah, so I think that's probably the thing I've been doing that's been the most rewarding. And also just being able to have these people then, after that means that they do have something that they can share online. We'll see how long this lasts, but it's kind of a new art form for all of us.
It is, and it's something that a lot of people will take a full year to plan before even attempting to execute, let alone market. And we just kind of rolled it out in about 4 weeks. And,
Yeah.
and it took a heavy lift. I saw a stat today that said that moving to virtual, moving to digital means the events actually take 10% more work in every capacity, from communication to the logistics to planning to marketing. Every element is 10% more work than planning a live event. Interesting.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but I believe that.
It's true. Lilith, what have you been doing behind the scenes to get us up and running as a virtual 14th Street Y?
I also have been wearing a lot of different hats, but I think my favorite is definitely editing the videos that come in for our community corner. It's a really wide range of videos. Everyone is rising to the occasion with whatever they have on hand, which means there's a pretty broad variety of video quality and sound quality. And it's actually a lot of fun to sort of flex the creative problem solving muscle of like, how much better can I make this sound without making it sound like a robot? How do I scrub through and find the best possible thumbnail that I can without it being a face? That's been a lot of fun, because it also makes me sort of feel closer to my coworkers when I stare at their face for 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and then gently whispering to my computer to persuade it to actually export these big, beautiful files. It's been a fun journey the whole time.
And it's a lot of work, this video content. It will take a lot of time. And you've got to remember, we were not planning this. So our little laptops at home are not furnished by our jobs. These are our personal technology and equipment. And so we're really having to be extremely flexible and think on our feet. I invested in a new router just because I was freezing every
external hard drive here. Yeah.
And you also invested in something, Lilith.
Yeah. I got an external hard drive because my laptop is a good 6 years old, and these big video files, they had to just live in their own little pocket of storage. And that was a saving grace for sure.
Why don't we talk for just a second about the community corner, since you mentioned it as being a project that you're working on. Now, the community corner is actually a YouTube channel that you can go to and see a lot of different content we've been doing, from these artist insight interviews to play readings to just moments where our community is saying, hi, how are you? A yoga video, a make your own chocolate chip cookie. And you also can contribute. There's a form that we can probably link up to in the Facebook chat right about now. Magical Facebook love, lovely people. And we will make it so that you can also submit a 2 to 3 minute video just saying hi to the community, because you're part of our community and we just miss seeing everyone on a daily basis. So again, that community corner is our YouTube channel. So let's move on to highlight. In your time at the 14th Street Y, what is an artistic moment, highlight, gem that you have walked away with? And Lilith, I'm going to put you on the spot first.
Well, there were many, many instances that came to mind. But I couldn't help but think a lot about our Lava Fellows, many of whom are friends of mine. They're also on our staff. And I think about Richard Sodek's work in progress that we saw at his Lava Live that was really, for such a short piece, so moving and such a journey in such a short time. And it was such a blessing it's such a blessing every time we have a Lava Live or a Lava main stage to see the work of these people that we work with really closely every day. Like my friend Dimitri, who's also on our staff, I've known for years now. And every time, that's a real joy. But I also have to throw in another one of when we were reading the plays for our season curation. There were these moments where we would all finish the same play around the same time, and we would all rush into an office together and just get really excited about the work we were reading. And that is a really, really special feeling that I really value.
Amazing. Yeah. And for you viewers out there, we read every single play submitted to our season, and the whole team, arts and culture team, rallies around and reads scripts with each other. And it is actually one of the most exciting few months. And we were just about to announce our season when all of this happened. And actually, we have an amazing season planned. And now it's just a question of when can we get in that theater? And if we don't get in that theater, how do we pivot it virtually? Because it's really a strong season.
Really
Rebecca,
is.
let's go to you. What's an artistic gem from your experience at the Y?
I think for me, the Tikkun we had last year was really strong for me. So I'm sure we'll talk about the upcoming Tikkun, but last year we had this all evening event in the space, in the whole building, with artists doing various work in various places and discussion groups and just I feel like it's such a good community moment where people come in to see one thing and they walk out having experienced all these different pieces. And I didn't get to experience most of it myself, but what I did was really amazing, and just seeing people's responses to the art as they were walking around the building and communicating with each other, and saying, "Oh, you have to go check out this thing on the first floor." Yeah, so I think that was probably one of my favorite things. And also, it's such a huge project every year, including this year when it's virtual. But it's such a huge project, and when it then just happens and everything comes together, that's really one of my favorite things we do.
Yep. And our Tikkun, usually brings in 500 to 700 people. And we are doing just as an awesome Tikkun this year virtually on May 28th. Go to our Season of Jewish Culture Tikkun webpage and check it out. We have actors from Unorthodox, the Netflix hit TV series. 3 actors who have performed multiple times at the 14th Street Y Theater will be talking about that work. We have wonderful downtown Jewish life partners bringing their work and their shuls and their synagogues to us virtually. We have tech study. We have our Lava Arts program with some amazing performances throughout the night, and even a virtual tour of the LGBTQ hotspots in Tel Aviv, and that my bells are on for that one. I'm excited. And speaking of the Israeli content that we have coming up at our Tikkun, let's go now to Ophir. And Ophir, why don't you tell us what an artistic gem that you have?
So like Lilith, there are many instances to choose from. I think that the 2 major highlights I would choose from would be the last Mimuna, the online Mimuna, and particularly because it's a precedent. Mimuna hasn't been before online. Last year was the debut Mimuna event, so seeing it being so successful with the music and the panel and how people were able to resonate with that, I think that was a great success and a great uplifting artistic moment for me. The second, I would choose from the pool of lava. I had a tremendous pleasure working with Alex Weiser and Ben Kaplan. They are the curators of an opera, State of the Jews, on Theodor Herzl's Life. And I've been facilitating the panel following the opera with the latter, and also with Ruby Namdar, who is a genius, is a genius author. And it was such a pleasure being in the same room with these three brilliant minds talking about this opera. I would never imagine before becoming a shaliach or an emissary that I would watch an opera and then moderate a discussion after that.
Yes, and for those of you who are interested in Alex Weiser, who is a former LABA fellow from our LABA Artist Fellowship program, we will be showing excerpts of that opera on our Facebook Live on May 28th. So make sure you jump on and check out some of the opera. Again, we're from 6 o'clock to midnight, so it's going to be just a lot of content that we're sharing on there, and then you can take breakout Zoom sessions and classes for more individualized experiences. But that was pretty brilliant. And the fact that then Alex, I don't know if you know, Alex was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize this past year. So mazel tov to Alex, and honestly to the work that the 14th Street Y does to give platforms to artists and to incubate new art and have discussions with our community. And now more people are seeing it than ever. So we're just going to take this moment and continue to nurture it. So why don't we just now pivot one more time to a final question. And how have you seen the Arts and Culture Department grow in your time here at the 14th Street Y? At the last week conversation, we talked about how when Chrissy and I started, it was literally just a bare bones, one person is wearing 5 different hats kind of situation. And now we have grown to a place where you can own your hat for the most part. So what has this growth been like for each of you individually? And Rebecca, why don't we start with you?
Yeah. So for me, when I started, Lilith wasn't there yet. We did have someone else who started shortly after me who did box office, but I think Lilith is taking on a little bit more responsibility because of the way the rest of us have grown. So when I started, I was part-time. I was running around trying to do everything. And since being full-time and having more ownership over things like the partner relationships and things like that, I feel like we've really gotten to a good place where I think that people feel supported, and also where we as a team, just because of everyone kind of having their own thing, but also being so willing to help each other out, where we are usually in a really good place. And I feel like even through all of this, we've been very good at helping each other out, and just kind of stepping up where we need to, including helping other departments or just taking over for someone who has too much on their plate or too many meetings. Yeah.
Lilith.
I feel very sort of similar growth situation of us just constantly checking in, but I also more selfishly have really enjoyed getting more and more artistically involved the longer I'm there, and getting to know our artists, and being a part of creative decision making process. And of course, it's hard not to think about our circumstances now. It's also been really fun flexing again that creative problem solving muscle, particularly with Rebecca, as we learn new things like the subtle art of Facebook comment moderating and what it means to edit the website from the back end together. And that has been really, really fun to just sort of see. Strange to call it fun, but it has been fun to see what new skills we can use and learn as we just adjust together as a unit,
And, Rebecca and Lilith, you've both been so supportive of our marketing team, because this marketing team had the Herculean lift of going virtual. And when you're not prepared for that as a team, that's a massive undertaking, and Lilith and Rebecca, you both just really stepped up as much as you can to support them, so they have to do as little with us as possible when it comes to the logistics, from the webpage to the Facebook moderating and all of that, so that they can hopefully just focus on the marketing of the event rather than all of the other digital logistics. And Jackie Fletcher, our director of marketing, just a big shout out to the hard work she and her team have been doing with Rachel and Throughline Creative, Courtney and Kelly, and Larry in external engagement. They've really worked hard. So all these humans behind the scenes, thank you.
They gave us the tools we need to do what we're doing now. So.
Yep. Ophir, why don't you talk to us for a second?
So for me, I joined the arts and culture team as part of being a shaliach. So I already joined an existing group, inspiring group of people. And the experience of acceptance of me, a foreigner from a different country, within this platform, and also the what I call the school of innovation that the arts and culture team is, really enabled me to move forward with all these events. I had many ideas and dreams, and the arts and culture team gave me the tools to make them come true. And I didn't have any experience whatsoever in production earlier to being a shaliach. And thanks to being a part of the arts and culture team, now I can safely say that I've produced an array of events that I wouldn't be able to do without your help, David, and Rebecca and Lilith and Chrissy, of course, and Laura, all of the arts and culture team. You have been an amazing tutors for me.
Well, this has been quite a journey. Now I'm going to open it up. If you have a question for Ophir or Lilith or Rebecca, feel free to pop it into that chat, and we'll be live in just a moment to discuss further this conversation that we're having now, but with our community. I'd like to just make a little plug about May 28th again is our Tikkun. Our home base is going to be here on the 14th Streetwise Facebook page. We will be live from 6 to about 12:15 a.m. So that's 6 p.m. to 12:15, 12:30 a.m. And we will have content, arts, conversations, opera, and then we'll also have breakout Zoom classes that you can register for right now. And it's everything from sessions with thought leaders to artistic readings, and we're even having some music, some chanting, some spiritual moments. Go online, check it out right now. And also there's that great talk back panel with actors from Unorthodox that we're looking forward to as well. So hopefully we'll see you at our Tikkun, and that again is May 28th. I'd just like to thank this entire team for joining us. And next week, we will be continuing the conversation, and next week is going to be completely LABA focused. We will talk about the journey of LABA over the past decade. We'll have our guests as Ronit Muscatblit, who was the artistic director of LABA for many years and has passed on the director of LABA New York to Laura Newmark, who will also be on that conversation. And Ronit can talk a lot about our LABA global efforts, which she is now leading. So it's going to be a really exciting Artist Insight next week, all about LABA. And we have a special announcement to make. So if you want to be the first to hear our LABA announcement, then join us next week, Facebook Live at 2 o'clock. And until then, be safe, be well, and let's continue the conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hi, everyone. This is Chrissy Wright, the production manager at the Theater of 14th Street Y, joining you again to bring you today's live Q&A. If you have any questions for our previous participants here, unfortunately, David could not be with us today. So bear with me as I try to do two jobs at once. It gets a little clunky, but I'm going to start off by bringing in Lilith and Rebecca and asking them a question that I had. So seeing as how all operations have shut down in the physical space right now, is there anything exciting about this that you're like, oh, once we reopen, I've always wanted to change this thing and I've never known how to change it. Now is a great time to do that. Is there anything like that that you find really exciting?
I think one thing that's been really good is actually you, Chrissy, figuring out how to do these online virtual shows, basically, because I think it's going to be something that we can really use once we do start up again, to bring the artists that are in our space also on our, virtual presence and everything. So, yeah, good job.
I think similar to that, we've often talked about wanting to record our talkbacks, and we've never been able to do that. And we now have, like you said, this virtual space that we have, more of a presence on, and we have a place where we can put that once we're back in the space, so that folks, because we have a very international community, and that's been one of the weird advantages of being virtual, is that folks who usually can't see our performances are tuning in. So now we have a precedent for doing that in the future.
And I think it's also obviously just kind of forced us to take the time to learn how to do all of this. I think that often when we're in the middle of everything, there's always so much to do with just the physical space and making sure that, everything is looking nice, that we don't really have the time to really learn all these other new ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's actually going to be really good moving forward, and a fun thing to try.
Yeah. That's it for me.
Yeah, I was just saying, unless there is something that you've thought of since making this tape a few days ago that you're like, oh man, I really wish I would have said.
Oh, I have one thing. I regretted not also shouting out Willie Zabar, another one of our great Lava Fellows, who's also on the front of house staff. As soon as we finished recording, I was like, oh, Willie, who we have seen on our Artist Insight, and he did a great job with that. So shout out to Willie.
He's doing something for the Tikkun as well on Thursday. A lot of people are doing funny things, which is going to be great because I think we all need it. I'm excited for that too.
All right, great. So thanks everyone who sat here and watched with us. I hope you feel like you know a little more about us. And as David has mentioned, I think 17 different times during that interview, our Tikkun is coming up on May 28th, and we hope you all come and join us. Thanks for watching.